He's a bucket getter, isn't he? And he's disruptive defensively. Um, Not as good in the end of the shot clock. I thought tonight, let's recap. I thought we had a good opening night win against a quality team in Louisiana Lafayette who challenged us. A lot of emotion in the building. I thought it was electric for us. Kind of reminded me of an early SEC game. Lafayette's a good team. We knew that. They took the fight to us, and I like the fact that our guys never flinched. And so I was really pleased. You know, we won the game by 18, but I was really pleased with the way in which we played. Tonight, not so much. We knew that tempo was going to be a completely different ball game. You know, Louisiana Lafayette's like us. They want to play up and down. We knew they were going to play late in the clock and go through Nick Mayo, who is a really good player. And we allowed them to control tempo. I think we had it up 19 with about 4 to play. I wish we would have finished stronger, but some of that's experience and just not making good decisions with the ball. Hopefully that'll clean up. My biggest concern through 2 games is simply our inability to be as athletic on the defensive end as we appear to be on the offensive end. So that tells me our drive has to be much greater on the defensive end of the floor.
Looks like Dominic was more active in the second half than he was in the first.
I think so. We gave him the challenge of guarding Nick, and they run all their offenses through him, Nick Mayo, number 10. And I thought he did a decent job with it. I thought we overhelp sometimes, we underhelp sometimes, we don't rotate properly just based on lack of communication, and those are things that, again, I'm going to continue to challenge most definitely the upperclassmen on this year's team because that's where it's going to start.
Andy, what's been the key to DeAndre's efficiency so far through these 2 games? He had 17 on 8.
Yeah, and he really only had 2 bonehead plays. You know, he let the kid take his ball. You know, we're up 17, 18. He lets the kid take his ball, and because he's just doing too much. And then he had a similar situation at Louisiana Lafayette. But overall, I've been pleased with him. He's got to be a better position defender. You know, if you think about it, we had moments tonight. Markel Crawford is our most consistent perimeter defender as far as doing the most things right. He'll typically grade out the highest based on just being in the right place the majority of the time. Schuler is kind of feast or famine right now, and that's just a learning curve of a freshman, but he's so athletic and he's got such good instincts that he can make plays, but then he'll do some things based on rotations that's, again, until he gets a little more familiar. TD and Brian, well, they're really athletic offensively. We need them to be that athletic defensively and do it consistently, and I thought at times tonight they did, and then they would just kind of put it on cruise control and not finish the way we wanted. Dre's a completely different animal. Dre's got to be an angles master. He's got to always be thinking one step ahead of the game because physically he's not going to be able to make that difference up. He knows that. I'm not speaking behind his back. I tell him this literally 17 times a day. He knows this. But he's just got to be more engaged mentally. And as the oldest guy on the floor, maybe the oldest guy in the building, he's got to be more open and loud and take more ownership of the locker room. And I'm going to keep challenging him to do so.
Has there been any common thread in these first 2 second halves that allowed you guys to kind of pull away?
You know, we're better in the second half. We've always been better in the second half offensively simply because we can be in their ear, you know, a little more because they're in front of us. It's so hard to say. You know, a lot of times in the first half they'll take a bad shot and say, oh, I didn't hear what you were calling. Well, it's a little more difficult to say that in a second. And I just think, you know, we have spurts. We just need to be more consistent. Some of that is, again, tonight I started Schuler. We're still trying to figure out who can play with whom. We're mixing and matching, and hopefully we can formulate a formation just shy of 26, a rotation just shy of 26, Parrish.
Do you think Hyman gave you pretty good energy again tonight?
Who?
Hyman.
KG, 10 rebounds, 8 and 10, 3 assists, no turnovers, 3 blocks. Made a couple free throws. Yeah, his energy's been good. He flies around at the basket. Again, the biggest takeaway for me sitting here tonight is our inability to contain the bounce, which causes unnecessary rotations. They did a good job of finding the extra guy and scoring late in the shot clock. And then decision-making offensively. When we make the right one, we assisted on about 66% of our made field goals, 19 assists off 30 made shots. Only had 8 turnovers, so you're saying, what are you talking about, Coach? But you guys aren't at practice. And we're just not making the right decision enough, and that's something that we've got to get better at.
You've always talked to TD about not taking those contested threes, at least early 2, but it looked like they're in second.
It's not working, is it?
No.
Should I change my approach, you think?
You ran those sets for him in the corner threes, and he made them. I mean, that's kind of how you wanted to play with from the
You know, I've had this now from Chris Warren to Rico White, to Marshall Henderson, Stephon Moody. Terrence Davis is now falling into this, and Buki's catching up quick. I'm like, guys, I can help you. Let me help you. Don't do this. You know, we're going to, you know, just like when football wants to throw it to to A.J. Brown, they throw it to A.J. Brown, they run a play for A.J. Brown to throw him the ball. He's the primary option. That's my assumption. I'm not a big football guy, but that's my assumption. Let's throw it to him. So there are plays that specifically I'm going to say, okay, this is the number one option, so let us help you with that. You don't have to just go out as, a lot of times, man, we're trying to get ball rotation, and it's like the old Marshall Henderson days. When he's on the floor and you're trying to run a continuity set, it better not touch him, because he's going to shoot it. And TD's got that, and Schuler's got that, and Dre's got that, and so on and so we're still trying to work through some of that. Yeah, just trying to, again, you know, I've just like, I still want to reward guys for practice. Sometimes guys, you know, we go through about a 6-week period where we're practicing a lot, and that's determining, okay, who's going to set, that determines the initial rotations, along with maybe, you know, what they've done career-wise. And so then when you get to the game, sometimes they think, oh, okay, well, I don't have to practice anymore. That's just about the games. So I want to make sure I reward guys for practice and making sure that we're getting better every day. I knew he was going to be a good player. I'd never seen, this was part of the tournament we're going to in Las Vegas next week, and so I hadn't seen them much. It's early in the season. I watched their game when they beat Rice. I know that we had some NBA people wanting to come watch him against us, so that tells me, hey, he's on the radar. I didn't know how big he was until I'd seen him in person. I just think he's got a great tempo to his game. He's a deft passer. They run everything through him. The coach is smart. Let's get it to their best player and make decisions. And I think 9 times out of 10, he made the right decision. And they hurt us late in the shot clock many, many times based on his decision making.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thanks.